My dad gave my stepbrother a house, then handed me a bill in front of everyone. At my dad's retirement party, he gave my stepbrother the keys to his house. Then he handed me a folder. Everyone clapped when he made the announcement. This house has been in our family for 30 years, he said, holding up the keys. And now I'm passing it on to someone I trust to take care of it. He walked right past me and dropped the keys into my stepbrother Kyle's hand. People cheered. Kyle looked stunned for a second, then broke into a huge smile. My stepmom hugged him like he'd just accomplished something incredible. I stood there, smiling just enough to not make things awkward. Then my dad looked at me and said, "And for you, I've prepared something too." He handed me a thin folder. Not even a card. Not even an envelope. A folder. I remember thinking maybe this was something different. Maybe he was trying to surprise me in his own way. I opened it and my stomach dropped. It was a repayment agreement. I didn't react right away. I just stared at the number printed at the bottom, $27,400. I honestly thought it was a joke. Kyle leaned over and whispered, "What is it?" I looked up at my dad and said, "You want me to pay you back for raising me?" The room didn't go completely silent right away. It was more like the noise slowly drained out. My dad shifted and said, "It's not like that. It's just we've supported you a lot over the years. College, bills. When you moved back home, I cut him off." "You mean the same things you did for him?" I nodded toward Kyle. My stepmom jumped in quickly. Kyle didn't need as much help. He was more independent. I actually laughed. Kyle lived at home until he was 26. I moved out at 18 and worked 2 jobs just to stay afloat. I flipped through the pages and they had itemized everything. Tuition, hell, car repairs, groceries, even the 3 months I stayed with them after I lost my job. They turned every hard moment of my life into a number and called it debt. I looked around the room. My aunt wouldn't look at me. Someone near the back just shook their head. I said, "So let me get this straight. You give him a house and you give me a bill?" My dad's voice got firmer. "It's about accountability." I looked around and said, "In front of everyone?" That's when it really hit. You could feel the whole room shift. Kyle slowly stood up, still holding the keys. "Dad, this doesn't feel right." My stepmom snapped, "Don't start." But he didn't back down. "No, she's right. This is messed up. I didn't expect that. Not from him." My dad's face changed instantly. "This is not the time for this." I closed the folder and said quietly, "You're right. It's not." I walked up to him, placed it back in his hands, and said, "I'm not signing this, and I'm not pretending this is normal." Then I grabbed my coat and left. I didn't cry there. I waited until I got to my car. About a week later, Kyle showed up at my apartment. He was alone, holding the keys. "I told them I don't want the house," he said. I just stared at him. "What?" He nodded. "I'm not taking something that comes at your expense." I didn't even know what to say. I asked, "What did they say?" He gave a small shrug. "They're mad. At both of us." Of course they were. He sat down across from me, quieter now. "I always knew they treated us differently," he said. "I just didn't realize how bad it was until that night." I nodded slowly. "Yeah, same." He placed the keys on the table between us. "I don't know what happens next," he admitted. I looked at the keys, then back at him. Me neither. But for the first time, it didn't feel like I was the only one being pushed aside. And honestly, that mattered more than the house ever could.